Hey, my name's Dale Larson. I'm one of the social sciences librarians here at the University of Utah Marriott Library. And I wanted to give you a quick answer to a question. Say the hypothetical question is, my economics professor wants me to find a scholarly article that says a particular thing so I can pick it apart and look at the methodology and see what the impact was, what the outcomes were, maybe look at some references and things like that. How do we find a scholarly article about economics about any topic under the sun? Because econ's like everything, right? Let me give you some tips. First, I'm going to show you how the academic library works. It's going to take 15 seconds. I'm going to show you how keywords work in a particular economics database. Then I'm going to show you the guide of the real economics librarian, Marie Paiva, who can guide you when they return. So step number one. How does the academic library work? First of all, this is a login access. So if you log into Canvas CIS, or you can log in here, you'll get a lot more full text access. And if you log in here and go out to Google Scholar, you'll get a lot more full text access out there too. But you have to go through this interface first, otherwise it might be chaotic. So first thing that every academic library has, library catalog. So you can type in this one what we call natural language searching, economics, but you have to spell it correctly. And if, not vehicles, vehicles, if it's more than one word in a concept, you have to put it in quotes. Economics, electric vehicles, and let's see, beliefs. Let's throw everything at there. The library catalog is going to look at things based on the words that you have in there. So it's not going to look for synonyms for beliefs, like attitudes or values or morals or anything like that. It's only going to look for these characters. I'll show you how to expand on those synonyms and related terms. But if you just wanted the bare bones, go to articles, and you go to peer-reviewed journals, and that's how you can get a hold of those. And let's see what the journal is. Transportation research. Some of it might be like sociology. Some of it might be like urban planning. So your results may vary in this particular database. But econ, again, studying everything. Second thing that every academic library has is databases. Databases you can go in by the name of the database. So if somebody says go to Academic Search Ultimate, or if they say go to JSTOR. But handily, you can go by subject. Let's do that in a second. The third thing and the fourth thing, interlibrary loan. A lot of the articles might show up as no full text available. You can log in to interlibrary loan, fill out the citation information for the article, and we will get it to you in like a day. Lastly is research guides. Every librarian produces these, and there's our librarian for econ. But you can look for anything. We'll touch on this one in a bit. OK, let's go to the database. Here's how you do a detailed search. So databases, we want to just go into economics. How embarrassing, I cannot spell. The librarian, oh, here's their guide, by the way. The librarian will put their favorite and easiest to access database at the top in this yellow bar. So there's a bunch of other ones that are related, but this is like the easiest one to get into. It looks familiar. EBSCO provides content for a lot of different disciplines, but you always can tell where you are if you look at these green letters. We're specifically in Econ Lit as a database. Go to Advanced Search. And so knowing that we're in econ or economic related journals, probably going back like 20, 25 years, you could put in any keyword. So I'm going to put in decision making. And look at this, it's giving me synonyms. But all the synonyms have decision making in them. So I think if I just put decision making in quotes, I'm good to go. Whenever you do a search like this, there's tens of thousands of articles, and it's only looking for the ones that have decision making typed out. So if you know other languages, Spanish, Arabic, Korean, you can type those characters in too. I've even seen, well, just like every language, anyone that is producing scholarship is publishing things under their native language. It's really a cool era that we live in. So some of them show up in the title, some of them show up in the abstract, but decision making is there. and we get 59,000 things. That's unsustainably large. So what do we want decision making to be? Well, I love cars, automobiles, but I don't know if it's cars or vehicles. If you put an or in between, these are synonyms, I also like trucks. Or you can do a star and that'll get truck or trucks or trucking. Maybe I want truck or trucks. But what it's going to do is it's going to look for automobiles. Once it pulls back all of those, then it's going to throw vehicles onto the pile and truck onto the pile. But you see that there's an and here. That means it's going to look for all this first, and then out of those search results, it's then going to narrow it down to those. So we go from 59,000 to 816. And now the decision making, I don't want it to be practical or maybe not necessarily rational. In the econ version of rationality, I'm not sure how that works, but I'm going to put in keywords that might measure it. Ooh, keywords, belongingness or connectedness or belonging. I'm going to also do or beliefs or values or attitudes. I don't know if any of you are old enough, but when the Prius first came out decades ago, people got really snobby about it. And they were just like, oh, you drive a Prius. So that's an attitude. But the Prius owners were like, you drive a truck. So I think that's a bygone era. But let's see what happens. So we have 816. 206. Look at this. Are consumers ready to adopt electric vehicles? Oh, I didn't think about motivation. So somehow they've managed to measure what the motivators are and the barriers. Oh, in India even specifically. And then policy implications. This has to be like an econ journal. You can also, I would suggest, unless you're doing historic, go up to like the pandemic or just past the pandemic. The world has changed since the pandemic. And then you can see all these different things. How do we know if it's the right article or not is something that you would negotiate with your instructor. So sometimes they're looking for something very, very specific, like a specific method or a specific survey device or outcomes or something like that. But sometimes you're looking for something that just supports what you're looking for. So let me go in. Let's look. Heterogeneity. I love that word. Not sure I know what it means. Oh, here we go. Ooh, what drives consumers' intention to purchase self-driving cars? Last couple of things in this database that you should know. When you go in, you can usually read the abstract. This is true of Google Scholar too. There's a citation generator over on the side, so you can get a variety of citation styles depending on what your classes are in. Uh-oh. I didn't want to go to the results search. I accidentally went to a different one. You get the idea. There's lots of keywords. So this one's really great. Emotional, social, and cognitive factors on decision making. That's way better than the keywords that I put in. Okay, say this was an article. You're like, okay, this is a good one. To see it, a lot of these are going to have this find it, view it. What that's going to do is it's going to go back to the library catalog when I click on it, and it's going to look and see if we have access in any one of our database vending relationships, which we have many, many, many. Sometimes you're going to get a link like this, and there's the PDF of the article. Scholarly article looks like this. It's very serious. It's like a doctor coming in with a lab coat in to say that you've broken your arm. Black and white, very serious and unbiased and data-driven. They'll come to the point really quickly. They'll talk about the questions. They'll talk about the precedents in a lit review. They'll talk about their instrument and how they gather data, and they'll talk about conclusions. All in this first page. And then the rest of it is going to be supporting evidence and data and tables. And then at the very end, it's going to be the references. That's a lot, isn't it? But basically, you should know that if you get into the title of an article, you've already gotten a big part of the main idea of what's going on. There's a citation generator here, too. OK, last little bit of a lesson. How do I find other econ stuff? If you go to Research Guides and you type in economics, there's a guide for economics. And there you can reach out. Marie is out, and we'll be back on October 7th or 8th, I believe. But in the meantime, there's web resources that you can get more keywords or background information or the names of people or maybe the names of initiatives and policies. And at the top of the list of databases, there's EconLet. But there's like Left Index, so there's like a political analysis. There's historical. There's all sorts of great stuff in here. Dissertation thesis. Okay, I'm going to stop. If you run stuck before October 7th, reach out to dale.larson@utah.edu, and I'd be delighted to help.